You know, if you were to follow a busy doctor as he makes his daily round of calls, you'd find yourself having a mighty busy time keeping up with him. Time out for many men of medicine usually means just long enough to enjoy a cigarette. And because they know what a pleasure it is to smoke a mild, good-tasting cigarette, they're particular about the brand they choose. In a repeated national survey, doctors in all branches of medicine, doctors in all parts of the country were asked, "What cigarette do you smoke, doctor?" Once again, the brand named most was Camel. Yes, according to this repeated nationwide survey, more doctors smoke Camels than any other cigarette.
Cigarettes have been a large part of America's past ever since the discovery of tobacco in the New World, and has been a booming business ever since. Almost everyone was smoking back then, and as you saw in the Camel cigarette advertisement, doctors were even recommending it. Smoking has been prominent in pop culture, making appearances in many TV shows, movies, and songs. It wasn't until fairly recently that people turned on cigarettes. Former Mayor Michael Bloomberg was one of them. On January 1st, 1990, the Clean Indoor Act was put into effect, limiting smoking in most public spaces, including stores, schools, taxis, work sites, and some restaurants. 5 years later, Mayor Giuliani signs an extension of the Smoke-Free Air Act, which bans smoking in almost all public spaces, with some exception, and it goes into effect on April 10th of the same year. 7 years later, Mayor Bloomberg and other council members introduced Intro 256, the 2002 New York City Smoke-Free Air Act, that prohibited smoking in indoor restaurants and bars. Bloomberg wanted to protect everyone's right to breathe clean air, and with this ban and the huge tax on cigarettes and the harsh anti-smoking ad campaigns, he succeeded. The following clip shows Bloomberg's high hopes for the act.
I don't think there's anything that any of us that have been elected to serve the people of New York will do in our entire lives that will have the kind of impact that this legislation will have. We literally will save tens of thousands of lives going forward.
It went into effect in March of 2003, and since then, New York City has greatly benefited. Other states benefited from New York City's smoking ban, as it inspired them to pass bans too. As statistics show, the smoking reduction initiatives have effectively decreased adult smoking by 11% in New York City between 2002 and 2003 alone. In 2013, due to the reduction of smoking, a study showed that the New York lifespan has gone up to 80.9 years, and this is above the national average of 78.7 years. Here's a clip of Bloomberg talking about the success of his Smoke-Free Air Act on its 10th anniversary in 2013.
The Smoke-Free Air Act was implemented in 2003, and that did exactly what we wanted it to do. I can't tell you how many restaurant workers have told me what a difference it has made in their lives. Today, because of all of the work we've done to reduce tobacco use, there are nearly 500,000 fewer smokers than we had at the start of our administration here in New York City. Smoking among adults has dropped by more than a third to 14.8%, as compared to 21% in the rest of the country. Even better, smoking among New York City public high school students has been reduced by more than half to 8.5%. In the rest of that nation, that number is 18%. Estimates tell us that there are 10,000 fewer premature deaths due to smoking over the past decade, and our success in cutting smoking deaths to record lows is one of the key reasons that life expectancy among New Yorkers is 3 years longer than it was in 2000.
Additionally, in 2006, Bloomberg founded Bloomberg Philanthropies. This is an organization dedicated to ensure longer and better lives for people. Over the years, the charitable foundation has made several efforts to fight the battle against tobacco. In 2015, Bloomberg's $1 million fund had taken initiatives to fighting tobacco in Latin American nations such as Uruguay. Bloomberg made it clear to BBC that his organization was helping smaller nations in legal battles against tobacco companies, significantly assisting in reducing smoking. In interviews, the former mayor of New York City has made his position clear on tobacco use, demonstrating his distaste for how companies can sell these harmful products to people. Here's a clip of Bloomberg discussing his goals, especially in aiding other nations.
We are in this to try to help countries that can't afford to defend themselves against an industry that is trying to kill 1 billion people this century. And if that isn't a noble cause, I don't know what is. We all talk about saving society, but you got to translate that into action.
In 2016, Bloomberg committed $300 million to fighting the global use of tobacco over the next 5 years. In total, the organization has spent over $1 billion in support of anti-smoking policies all around the world. In over 20 nations, Bloomberg Philanthropies has successfully added graphic warnings to tobacco products and banned tobacco advertising. In a statement, Bloomberg mentioned, "Reducing tobacco use is one of our greatest opportunities to save lives and prevent suffering because we know that strong policies really do make a difference. And, since we began working 10 years ago to pass effective tobacco measures around the world, global sales of cigarettes have declined after a century of steadily increasing." As previously discussed, Bloomberg clearly opposed smoking and implemented laws against it, such as increasing tax on cigarettes in New York and expanding the bans on smoking in areas like the workplace and other public areas. Due to Bloomberg's smoking-reducing initiatives and his overall strong opposition to smoking, his efforts have benefited the lives of many, as it has led to a reduction in tobacco use all around the world.